everyone, and welcome back to another video. So today I want to review the duology of The Coven by Harper L. Woods. So from my understanding right now it is a duology. I'm not sure if there's going to be more in the series or if she's going to do like a spin-off or something like that, but I wanted to give you my honest review of this. I would call it a paranormal romance, just because it deals with witches and demons. So first off, this is the cover. These I think are redesigned because it's also got sprayed edges, and then here's the second one with the sprayed, so it goes very good together in my opinion with the flowers. Especially like once you read these, like you'll understand why the flowers. But so these are super short. They're both under 300 pages. So they were a very quick read for me. I think the first one was quicker than the second one for me. And I definitely liked the first one better than the second one. Now, the second one, the plot gets a little bit, I wouldn't say better, but it dives in a little bit more than the first one. But basically, like, this story is about a witch who has been living off the radar for 20 years because her mother left the coven and faked her death and all that stuff, and was raising her and then her little brother in some little small town away from the coven's eyes. And her mother had wards up to protect her, the main character Willow, from the eyes of the Covenant, which is the leader of the Coven, basically. And so the Covenant in book 1 is 2 immortal bone-like witches that were brought back to life and all that stuff. And you learned about that early on in the book. But her mother passed away, and so now the Covenant can see her, and so they're like, oh, well, we need to bring her to the school, and she needs to learn because she's the last of the Mediza line. So there's different colored witches, and they have different powers based on their color. So Willow is a green witch, and she basically deals with the earth, plants, you know, that kind of stuff. So then there's also these creatures called vessels. So vessels are kind of like vampiric, I guess you could say, because they have to feed off of the witch's blood to sustain themselves. They only need it like once a week, is my understanding in this. So, and I would call them vampiric just because like they have fangs and they, you know, have to take blood. And they're like super fast, stealthy, that kind of stuff. But you learn later on in the book what the vessels are. So basically, Willow has also been trained her entire life to eventually go to this school and extract revenge on the Coven, or the Covenant, because of what they did to her dad's sister. And you'll learn, like if you read this, you'll learn about the betrayal and what she was trained for and other stuff like that. But the romance in this is between Willow and the headmaster, who is a vessel. So you've got that like teacher student trope that, you know, I normally don't mess with. This though, like, it didn't act like, yes, he was a headmaster in the book, but in my opinion, like, he didn't there wasn't really, there's one scene where he was teaching a class. There was no other like references to him like having to lay down authority within the school and other stuff like that. So like, I know she was trying to do like the headmaster and student love trope or whatever, and I don't normally mess with that because, you know, that's like and if it's done well, it's done well, but I still like because it's not ethical at all. Like, if you're a teacher, you should not be dating your student like ever. So like, I thought I would try it because they were short and I thought the plot would be a little bit heavier than the romance. But in my opinion, with a book this short, I think it was pretty equal, to be quite fair. I don't think it was overly romantic. And I don't know if I would even like call this like romance. Like, it's very, very toxic. Like, very toxic. So, and she spells out trigger warnings. There are a ton of trigger warnings. So if you don't want to read this because of the trigger warnings, then don't. But I mean, she's got 11 trigger warnings spelled out in the beginning of the book. So I think I gave the first one a 4. And I gave the second one a 3.75. Like, I really enjoyed the plot. And I enjoyed Willow as a character all around. She kind of started to annoy me in the second one. But, like, overall, I think it was good. Was it my new favorite? No. And I think I don't normally read paranormal romance either. I think the last paranormal romance I read was oh gosh, like I think Twilight, to be honest. Because, and that's like YA. Or I don't know if you would classify Vampire Academy as like a paranormal because it's vampires. I don't know, but those are both YA. So I think this was like well, I take that back. The Bride, I would consider a paranormal romance by Ali Hazelwood because that has vampires, werewolves, and humans. And I think that's classified as paranormal. I could be wrong. Maybe it's paranormal fantasy is the subgenre. But like, that was not as graphic as this. Like, this, if you can't handle graphic, don't read this. Like, don't. Because the first one's graphic, but the second one is way more graphic. And there was a certain scene that I struggled to get through, and I was about to like skip it entirely because, like, to me that was just over the top, like unnecessary for the story, and I don't know why she put it in there, to be quite honest. So I didn't give it the rating it did because of the graphic parts of it. I gave it the rating it did because the plot itself was very good. I really did enjoy the plot. The romance, on the other hand, I think there was some things in here that she could have like left out, especially in the second one. Would I read it again? Yeah, probably, like later on, way down the road. But I also just like the covers. So, but it was, overall, it was a good read. I don't regret reading these at all. Just wanted to come on here and give you guys my thoughts about this series. Anything that has to do book-wise, that deals with like demons and angels, like that really intrigues me. And I wish the second one would have gone into a little bit more of that, but it didn't. So I'm not sure if she's going to come out with another one later on or a spin-off series, but I would be willing to pick it up if like I knew that she was going to expand into that lore a little bit more. Because like I love anything that has to do with like angels and demons and like the theology, like bringing that into a story element, I think is really, really cool. Like for example, Shadowhunters pulls like angels and demons and fantasy all in the same thing, and I know that's YA, but it's like, I think that's another reason why I absolutely love it, is just because it pulls everything and it's so well done. But I digress. So yes, I would recommend reading these if you are okay with all the trigger warnings. Please check out the trigger warnings before you pick this up to read it. But yeah, I would say that these were good. These are good reads. Can't deny that they weren't good. She wrote them well. The plot was well. The romance was okay. So yeah, overall, good series. Let me know if any of you have read this series by Woods. I'd like to know your thoughts. And with that, friends, don't forget, like, subscribe, and be good people.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost, oh, I will take your hand and we'll rise up from the dust.